we forgot to start the video. Let's try this again. Might be the intake. Is that on tight? Okay, the carb cleaner test revealed leaks here and at the carb cap. Base gasket, head gasket were fine. Connection between intake and carb was fine. So I will remove the rear fender for the 15th time, take the intake off, put gaskets on there, check under the cap, update you on the progress, and hopefully that fixes this. Now, some of you might have jumped to some other conclusions, but we have to work with the information that was provided. And the information that we gleaned was leak here, leak here. Let's fix those. It's tempting. It is so tempting to jump to other conclusions. But we have to work with the data set that we were provided. And that's what we were provided, folks. And there's my factory air filter. Luckily, the stock carb has a drain screw, so we can drain the carb. I wish all carbs had drain screws, don't you? Okay, video update. Took the carb and intake off as one piece, which means I had to unplug the stator wires, loosen the oil pump, of course, unplug the auto choke, left the fuel line on. So now we need to add gaskets, which I found. Ha, Murdoch, you didn't think I could find them, but I did. So we'll plug in 2 gaskets there, and there is an O-ring, not a gasket, but an O-ring in there, which would require fishing that one out and finding the right size. Did I buy an O-ring collection? I don't know. We'll check in shortly. Okay, so I'm in the heat of the battle. I want gaskets on the bottom and the top. You can see the one on the top, there's one on the bottom. Now maybe these were only meant to go on the top, but to get it to fit on the bottom, I had to take a razor blade and cut that square wider, which when you're in the heat of the battle, trying to get this together, that's the last thing you want to do. So all I can say is I guess they're just meant to go on top, but you should have them top and bottom. So I don't remember having that problem in the past. So I don't know what's going on, man. Don't know. Much better. Still can't get the, I don't know what's going on with the rear wheel, but the intake gaskets definitely helped a ton. So that's nice. On to other mysteries. Okay, so the SHA carb on the Urban, I get rid of the cable guide, we'll call it, that comes with the carb, and take one of these. I don't know if you can see that well. There we go. off of another carb and screw it in. And then you don't look like you have a problem with cable length, but I'll show you around front here. That wasn't recording. So if you need more throttle cable length, I don't think you do. Normally the urban throttle cable is in front of the turn signal. I looped it around here, and it goes through here and then back through there. If you even need more cable, you can undo it and have it come straight down through here, so that's not in there. I'm gonna do a little ride video finally, and I'll explain the switch to the SHA carb during the ride. Headlight working, fix the turn signal, dirt daubers, mud wasp with a problem there. Listen to her purr. Finally, time for a little ride video on the Silver Urban Express. It's been a while, taken me a little while to get to this point, but we're finally here at the finish line, taking her out for a little Sunday afternoon ride in the neighborhood. I switched to a SHA style carburetor and discovered that maybe I didn't need to. I'll have to test the original carburetor again, but after much gnashing of teeth and pulling of hair, I discovered that I had not put any weights at all in the variator. And I had rebuilt the engine several months ago, and I remember finally, at the time I rebuilt the engine, I said I'm not going to add any weights to the variator because I don't know what type of Urban Express this will go on. Will it go on a stock Urban Express, a modified Urban Express, a highly modified Urban Express? So I just decided I'd wait. And of course, in the time lapse that followed, I completely forgot about that, and there were no weights in the variator. So this was causing me a lot of frustration, not realizing this until later, because I would take it for a ride and it would get to about 12 or 13 miles an hour and start four-stroking like crazy. And that was because basically there were no weights in the variator. I thought it was because of the carburetor, so I switched to this SHA carburetor. But there's still a silver lining, because changing jets in the SHA carburetor is much easier than in the stock carburetor. You can get to the SHA carburetor a lot easier because it requires an intake adapter, which puts the carb out right in your teeth. So for those of you who are interested, it is a 1550 SHA clone, and it is running a 66 jet, 66 main jet, which I think is very, very close. Maybe a 67 would be a little better. Acceleration from a stop
is okay, not really that great. I'm using the Treats replacement stock belt, and I think I've got 54-ish grams of weights in the variator, which on right around 51 or so gives you the best acceleration on a stock bike, and it keeps your max speed. By the way, max speed, once this thing got warmed up, it's going to hit 30 miles an hour up here on this straight, and I'll hit 30 miles an hour a couple more times. The front tire is a little bigger than normal because it is a 2.75 inch tire. And as we know, a wider tire is a taller tire. The stock tire is a 2.25 inch tire. So going that ½ inch more in width will add proportionally to the height of the tire. And I'm just telling you all that because while it read 30 miles an hour, it might actually be doing just a tiny bit faster. Maybe 31, maybe 30 and a half. Who really cares, right? I did the H4 headlight bulb and socket switch on this, and just basically took a torch to the old bulb, melted the solder, broke the bulb in the headlight assembly, took all that out, and then drilled the bulb hole a little bigger, and then put in the H4 bulb and socket, and I just used Yamabond and let it dry overnight to hold the bulb in the headlight assembly. And then the final thing to getting this thing done was the left turn signal would work, but the right turn signals would not work. I took apart the left-hand control on this and found that dirt daubers had used the very, very tiny space right under my left thumb to build a tiny, tiny nest, and it was packed with dirt. Once I got all the dirt out of there, which there was quite a bit, and I sanded the corroded headlight lever switch, life was good, or turn signal lever switch, I'm sorry. We're talking about the turn signals now, not the headlight. So anyways, I got all that done, and we've got a stock silver Urban Express prowling the streets. Thanks for watching. I will let you enjoy the rest of this ride. Soak it all in. We'll see you soon.